Hello everyone. Those of you who are new to CentreWorks Fusion Access to Fresh Foods, welcome. Today we'll be doing a Draw My Life video about our journey with Fusion. First things first, CentreWorks is a non-profit initiative associated with Center College in Danville, Kentucky, which aims to connect with the community and serve as a catalyst to stimulate the recovery, establish resilience, and enable the growth of Kentucky's famed bluegrass region. CentreWorks brings people from 7 counties together to be able to learn about how empathy, resilience, and other tools can be used for positive community action. Within CentreWorks is the Fusion Access to Fresh Foods team, which consists of 7 students who've worked over the past year to hear individual perspectives on fresh food access and give those perspectives a platform on which to be heard by the Danville community. This is done by emphasizing empathy and the entrepreneurial mindset, 2 components of the Human-Centered Approach to Innovation, or HCA. HCA develops complex solutions to problems by empathetically utilizing the human perspective in all steps of the problem-solving process. At CentreWorks and within this Fusion team, Human-Centered Approach to Innovation is what drives our community action. Now, let's delve into how we have been using the human-centered approach in Fusion and our journey so far. In August of 2020, CentreWorks held its inaugural Resilience Bootcamp, a skill-building program which teamed up incoming first-year students with community members to develop a deeper understanding of empathy, resilience, and the entrepreneurial mindset, and assist in the brainstorming process of finding solutions for challenges that the Danville-Boyle community faces. It was here that Jeff Jewell, manager of the Boyle County Farmers Market and executive director of the Boyle County Chamber of Commerce, introduced the challenge of food insecurity in the Danville-Boyle County region. A group of passionate students tackled, learned, and listened to community members' experiences on this issue throughout the 3 intensive days of the boot camp, and then presented it to community members, family, and center faculty. Here we saw the human-centered approach to innovation at work, guiding exchange between community members to increase understanding and empathy. This exchange was the birth of this Fusion team, which is continuously growing. Moving forward, our goal was to better understand how fresh food access impacts the community by listening to each community member we had the opportunity to connect with. For us, this meant that our most important focus was listening empathetically. One of our first steps in listening was reaching out to community members for what we called empathy interviews. In these interviews, we actively listened to community members and asked them open-ended questions about fresh food. Then, in October, we decided to host a community forum which focused on hearing people's thoughts and experiences about fresh foods in a large-scale setting. We used the same interview questions but adjusted them to a larger scale. After our October event, we continued to interview as many people as we could to better understand what fresh food and accessing it meant to them. While we were able to reach around 70+ people in total, our team was worried about the many technological barriers that prevented community members from participating in virtual events, which have been a popular avenue for connection, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. Our Fusion team wanted to make sure we had the chance to listen to as many perspectives as the global pandemic would allow. To do so, we also established 2 hotlines geared towards fresh food access, one in English and the other in Spanish. Anyone and everyone could call in and tell us their thoughts, stories, and opinions about what fresh food access meant to them. These hotlines allowed us to converse with people through cell phones, computers, landlines, and more that we otherwise wouldn't have been able to reach. The next logical step was to begin the process of pulling insights, or distinct and individual challenges concerning food access. After much trial and error in our organization of insights from these conversations, we were able to find patterns as well as emphasize the importance of individual experiences. This process left us with 5 clear barriers in accessing fresh foods in the Danville-Boyle County region. These are the barriers that the community shared with us. Distance is one thing that makes accessing fresh foods particularly difficult. We heard local individuals describing a majority of their barriers to food access consisting of transportation and distance from sources containing fresh, perishable food like meat, seafood, dairy, and fruits and vegetables. Some concerns included quality and lack of sidewalks, unrealistic public transportation options, high gas prices, and inconvenient grocery store locations. We also heard from the community of demographic and socioeconomic barriers that people face in regards to exclusivity. We heard that some people didn't necessarily feel welcome in all places, such as the farmers market, because they did not witness direct expressions of inclusion. Next, we defined stigmas. Many residents expressed that there was a general lack of education surrounding nutrition, which leads to miscommunications about the benefits and value of healthy, fresh foods. Regarding feasibility, people also shared that it is just not feasible to buy fresh foods due to the farmers market, seasonal schedule, and the high prices of fresh produce and rising gas prices. Additionally, taking care of family and other priorities may decrease attention from fresh foods as a matter of necessity and convenience. High prices were also a concern for a lot of Danville and Boyle County residents. Fresh foods like fruits, vegetables, meats, and dairy tend to be quite expensive compared to packaged and processed foods that sit on shelves in grocery store aisles for long periods of time, losing nutritious value in the process. After learning about some of the complex problems concerning fresh food access that we heard over the past several months, you may be wondering what to do with this information. Well, you talked, we listened, and now we have to find a problem statement. The problem statement is an important part of the human-centered approach to innovation because it is a broad set of goals created using the challenges we heard from empathetic listening to local food access perspectives. The statement reads, how might we provide sustainable access to nutritious, fresh, affordable food to all residents of Danville/Boyle County? At CentreWorks, we believe that this statement and its corresponding problems deserve to be made known to the community who shared them with us, and so we planned a virtual community event to do just that.
On April 13th of 2021, we presented 8 months of conversations and community collaboration to over 250 virtual participants. We aim to provide a platform where the community challenges we heard could be addressed with community-driven solutions. Using an application called Jamboard, where users make and virtually display digital sticky notes, we gave a diverse group of community members the creative freedom to explore solutions to complex issues concerning fresh food access. In the future, we plan to make this process more inclusive by extending beyond the digital realm and welcoming in-person brainstorming sessions. One of the first kind of solutions we saw through Jamboard were rooted in structural changes. This involves changes at levels like government and might mean more protection for farmers, lobbying, activism, and advocacy. It might also encompass wages, healthcare, grocery, or environmental jobs and cost. One example we heard from the Jamboard included policy change and approaching through a top-down by working to have our voices heard through the government and policy change first. The next grouping of solutions we focused on were everyday changes. Shopping options are a significant factor in everyday choices, so changes to shopping habits have the potential to impact broader access to fresh foods. Many people also expressed the desire to incorporate healthier eating options into local restaurants along with cooking classes. Others commented on their love for Danville's own Grace Cafe, a pay-what-you-can restaurant that brought local, fresh foods to people of all backgrounds and income levels, and their hope that it will be reopened post-pandemic. Community investment is also extremely important for building communities, which can increase access to fresh foods. Organizations like food drives, donations, and banks were mentioned in over 20 comments as powerful support for increasing general access. Community partnerships with local farmers, public schools, Center College, and other pre-existing organizations could also create more educational opportunities and pathways to fresh food. Community gardens are also powerful mechanisms for greater fresh food access and engagement. People in our groups mentioned a variety of garden-oriented solutions, such as giving community members tools and information to start their own gardens, incorporating greenhouses for year-round growth, and planting fruit trees and edible landscapes in town. The final category of solutions we also saw were movement changes. Delivery services for fresh food, like a mobile farmers market, could help bring fresh food into particular parts of the community who need it. Several participants also mentioned improving public transportation services, increasing the quality and frequency of sidewalks, and encouraging the use of bikes in Danville and beyond.
After gathering all of these potential solutions, we wanted to keep the community informed on what we had found together throughout this process. Similar to the way we gathered insights on the issues the community faced, the Fusion team analyzed the many Jamboard comments provided from the community. Not only are your experiences the building blocks of the information presented here, but they also make up the future of this project. We want to know what you all think of these proposed solutions. Are there ways to make these solutions more effective? Do you have any other ideas you think could meet the needs of the community? We hope that you will share your ideas in person this summer with our Fusion Access to Fresh Foods intern, Maddie Jenkins, as well as our online forum. With community collaboration comes community problem solving, and we are very excited to keep collaborating with you. Stay tuned for an infographic and a webpage with a deeper dive into the information shared here.